Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I really wanted to get my take on this Badu Jack versus Adonis Stevenson fight because I wasn't able to be on my computer for that fight and just do a post-fight video, a review video like I wanted to. So let me just say this, man. First of all, it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. My prediction for the fight was that I picked Adonis Stevenson to win. Um, I don't think he won the fight. Um, I could see a draw. I don't think a draw is crazy, but I think if you were going to give the decision to anybody, um, you probably give it to Jack. But I'm really not mad at a draw. I'm really not. I don't think a draw is a bad decision in that fight. Because for one, I think Badu gave a lot of the early rounds away. He dug himself a big hole, and while he dug himself a big hole, he did a good job in climbing out of it. But you can't dig yourselves those kind of holes in championship level fights and expect yourself to get out of them. Now I will say this: I tend to agree with a lot of people who think that Badu Jack just in big fights he gets wronged. He had the draw with Butte. That guy got changed to no contest, but he had the draw with Butte initially. He had a draw at James DeGale, and now he has a draw with Adonis Stevenson. So it kind of sucks that we see a guy like Badu Jack who really has done things the right way in boxing, done things the honest way in boxing. Been fighting good, solid competition, been beating them. The likes of Anthony Durrell, the likes of George Groves, the likes of Nathan Cleverly. And he's just been doing it the right way, man, because this is a guy in Badu Jack. If we can go back to the earlier parts of his career, this is the same Badu Jack that got stopped by Derek Edwards. This is the same Badu Jack that got had a draw with Alexander Brand of all people. So he's grown a lot as a fighter. He's been one of those fighters that's been a late bloomer and really matured in the latter stages of his career. So it kind of sucks that when you see a guy like that who does it the honest way, and he does earn the nod in a lot of these big fights, he just can't seem to get that decision to get him over the hump, and that's unfortunate. If there is a rematch, I do think Badu Jack will probably win that fight because he just seemed to look more fresh of the two. He seemed to figure Adonis out, and Adonis Stevenson, as good of a fighter as I think he is, I just think his days at the top level are numbered. I think they're numbered. I think they've been there for quite some time, but at no time was it more apparent to me that his days are numbered than Saturday night. Because. And this is no disrespect to Badu Jack, but the same Badu Jack who's become a world champion and made something of himself in this boxing game. This is the same Badu Jack that got stopped by Derek Edwards. This is the same Badu Jack that got knocked down by James DeGale. And for Adonis Stevenson to have this man hurt multiple times, to not find the left hand and put this man on the canvas one time, I find that very disappointing. But more importantly, I find it very telling of where he's at in his career. Now, you could attribute that to ring rust and not being like the most active fighter in the world, but at the same time, he's not really showing the ambition to be active because he doesn't want to fight outside of Canada. Legally, I don't think he can fight outside of Canada because I think he was a pimp or something like that. But he still this is the thing with Adonis right now. Adonis is one of those fighters who I think if you put him in there with any top light heavyweight, I think he's going to be able to compete with them. I think he'll compete with them. I think he'll give them some good rounds. I think he'll always be in every fight against a top level fighter because of that one punch factor, that left hand. But when you start fighting these guys who are younger, who can get out of the way of shots, and you're not as fast as you used to be, your punches aren't as crisp as they used to be because you're not in the ring as much, and your timing's off and things of that nature. I don't care how many times you go to the gym. I don't care how many sparring sessions you have. You cannot simulate fight night, and you got to be active in the ring and having actual fights on big stages. And he hasn't been, that guy for quite some time. So, he was a guy that a lot of people were pegging to be the next great light heavyweight. And he seemed to be just that after his wins against the likes of Chad Dawson and guys like that. He became the light heavyweight champion. But the Kovalev fight never happened, and he's ultimately just held that WBC belt hostage in Canada. And he let Andre Ward come and take his glory, take his shine in the Kovalev fights. And, he's just a forgotten champion. He's probably boxing's most irrelevant, I hate to say that, boxing's most irrelevant lineal champion of all time. That's just where it is. So I think for Adonis Stevenson, there's definitely, he still has good habits there because, when you train with a guy like Emmanuel Stewart for all those years, and you're gonna be a good fighter. You just are, you are. Um, but it's one thing to be a good fighter. It's one thing to compete, and it's another thing to beat these young, primed light heavyweight guys that are coming through. Guys like Vazdik, Peter Biev, who's younger than Stevenson, and Jack, by the way. A guy like him, even a Kovalev. I see that fight being hard for Adonis because Kovalev has been active. Kovalev has a fantastic jab. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I think that fight is still. I would still pick Kovalev in that fight. People always say, "Oh, well, Adonis will beat Kovalev," but no, Adonis is not beating Kovalev. He was never going to beat Kovalev. Um, so yeah, the ship has sailed on him being a great light heavyweight. He was ultimately a great talent, like many fighters in boxing today. A great talent, not a good talent. I want to tell you guys and make sure my words are clear. He was a great talent that will ultimately go as an unfulfilled one because he became a light heavyweight champion. He beat some good fighters. He beat Tony Bellew more decisively than any fighter has done in boxing. But he held the belt hostage in Canada. He fought cannon fodder opposition. And when he fought, and I'm just going to be respectful, I'm going to be as blunt as I can here. When he fought one of the weakest top-level fighters in the division, and this is really more a testament to how good 175 is than the fighter himself, but you fought a guy in Badou Jack who's one of the weakest top-level fighters in the division, a guy who was stopped by Derek Edwards, the same Derek Edwards that you knocked out years ago. You couldn't find one shot to knock him down. Badou Jack is a good fighter, but Badou Jack, it does not have, let's not get it confused with Ruslan Provodnikov or George Chavallo. He don't have that elite level chin like that. So for a guy like Adonis Stevenson to have his one punch knockout power, to have him hurt and not find the shot to put him down on the canvas, that's very telling to me. And usually when you age as a fighter, the last thing to go is your power. So I think Adonis has reached the stage of his career where for one, he's content, for one, he's happy. He's going to go to these fashion shows in Toronto and be with his lovely girlfriend. Shouts out to him, live your life, champ. But the last thing to go is your power, and I just think that's where he's at right now. I think right now, as we look at Adonis Stevenson, as we watch him fight, as we watch him age, he is in the process of losing his power. Now, it can still hurt you, but in terms of it being concussive power to where it's putting you flat on your ass, I think those days are over for Adonis Stevenson. And I think because those days are over, his days are over in terms of being one of the best, like one of the top 3 light heavyweights in the world. It is what it is, man. Every dog has their day. He's still going to be competitive. Like I said, you put him in there with any top level light heavyweight, I think he competes. I think he does well just because I think, when you have a guy like Emmanuel Stewart who trained you and built up so many work habits and taught you how to fight, inside, outside, and set up that big left hand, he's a smart fighter. He's a smart fighter. He's a good fighter. He's got good habits in the ring. But when that power goes, it goes. And if you don't have that power, and Adonis Stevenson with no power is a very beatable fighter. So that's just my take on everything. I think, like I said, I think as much as I respect his talent and his skill set, I thought he was going to be able to beat Badou Jack. I was wrong. He got a draw in a fight where he probably deserved to lose. And, yeah, man, we'll see what happens, man. But I think his days as a top light heavyweight are done. He rested on his laurels. He was holding that belt hostage in Canada, and it has finally caught up to him. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Adonis Stevenson, his performance against Badou Jack's performance against Adonis Stevenson. And do you think Badou Jack is wrong? Is he probably one of the most wrong fighters, top level fighters in boxing? Let me know that in the comments down below as well. Like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Danian. So until next time, take care, guys.